standing or sitting, whatever works best. And relax, taking several deep grounding breaths. And look within to find the eternal flame dwelling in your heart center. Feed that heart flame with love. Love is the fuel. Pour love on your heart flame and notice how it responds. Does it brighten, intensify, grow and spread warmth throughout your being? Take some breaths feeding your heart flame. And now, using your breath, feel a connection from your heart to the heart of the earth. Inhale, drawing up the power, vitality, and intelligence of the earth into your heart center. Drawing in this energy from the elements, minerals, plants, and other beings. Hold the breath for a moment, allowing this earth energy to mingle with the love you continue to pour into your heart. Exhale, releasing the breath, radiating vitality, intelligence, and life force to every cell in your body. And use this breath sequence for a few breaths, connecting deeply with the heart of the earth. Now extend your consciousness out to the heart of the universe. And inhale, drawing in the power, vitality, and intelligence from the universe. This energy that permeates all of creation. Breathe that in and hold the breath, allowing it to mingle with the love you're pouring into your heart and the earth energy that's filled your heart. And again, exhale. Sending that energy out, radiating to every cell in your body, the vitality, life force, and love from your heart, feeding every cell in your body. Continuing this breath. Now bring your hands, place them over your heart center, continuing this breath sequence, drawing in the power, vitality, and intelligence of the earth heart and the universe's heart into your heart, feeding it with love. Radiating that energy to every cell in your body. Now open your palms towards the central fire, the sacred fire we're sitting around tonight. And continuing that breath with the exhale, send that love, vitality, and life force to each and every participant in this circle. Weaving a tight, wonderful basket for this evening's presentation. And bring your hands back to your lap or your side. And thank you all for allowing us to share this meditation with you.
Thank you, guys. That was just perfect. Yeah. So tonight, as most of you know, for whatever reason, this journey around the sacred fire has been people that have been part of my path, and Jeff has been such a huge part of my journey as a friend, as a brother, and as a teacher. And I can absolutely say that I would not be holding this container of the sacred fire if it had not been for his support and his teachings that have opened the door to this deep walk that I've been called forth on this journey. So Jeff is going to be speaking to us tonight about befriending pain and suffering. And you know, we've been in this for several months now, and it's I know everybody is struggling in their own way with the unfolding of what is happening all around us. And you know, when he told me the topic, I'm like, well, that is just perfect. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and let him share his wisdom with us tonight. So Jeff Firewalker.
Leah, thank you so much for the kind words. One of the great blessings of the medicine path is that we get to encounter so many people on that path that fill our hearts and teach us so much, and we get to get ground to a pulp together on occasion and get to hoot and holler and have a lot of fun on occasion. So thank you, Leah, for the kind words. And Ed and Sister Sue, Ed, thank you so much for that beautiful weaving from the place of the heart. It's so important. You know, there's an old Cherokee saying that says that pain and fear are the arrows that point in the direction that we need to go. And in so many ways, that very simple teaching is really, I think, good medicine for this time. For we do live in a time of prophecy, and it's not just our brothers and sisters of the Americas that have held the prophetic nature of this time in their awareness, but throughout the globe, from the Kogi to the Inuits, from the Karo to Mongolian shaman and mystics. This is a time of prophecy. And in times of prophecy, because we are a complex interwoven system of interconnection and much of that connection beyond our conscious awareness, it is also said that in times of prophecy, our capacity as individuals, our responsibility indeed as individuals, is much greater than in quote unquote normal times. That our every thought, our every prayer, our every action has much more potency and much more capacity to shift the trajectory. And what I'd like to propose tonight, based, on the title that I shared with everybody, is that really there's no greater work that we can do right now than to go even deeper than we have as practitioners into deepening and reframing our understanding and our relationship with that which makes us suffer, that which causes suffering, whether it's our own biographies or the world's suffering. The emergence, the great reoccurrence of the golden age, the emergence of what our Indian nature mystic friends refer to as the Teri Paipacha, the time of the great return, requires a threshold of people working in non-confrontational, non-dualistic consciousness in order to help us remember who we truly are and the depths of our connection to all things alive, the Kausai Pacha. And there are three themes that are interwoven in this that I'd like to touch on, and then I'm going to stop talking at you so much, and we're going to actually spend the bulk of the evening growing corn and potatoes and doing exercises. I don't want to, Leah will tell you, Ed and Sue will tell you that I'll talk you into a coma if I'm given the chance. I'm going to try to be really disciplined tonight, and we're going to do stuff together instead of me blah-blahing for hours. So don't worry. So first, there are certain requirements that we must attain or taste in our inner world, in our consciousness, in order to set out on this journey of reframing, rewiring, and resetting our relationship to pain and suffering. The first is the acknowledgement that for whatever reason, maybe a dark sense of humor on the part of Creator, that on this planet, at least, it seems like through time, that true evolution, true soul's directive evolution is coupled with pain and suffering. That the experiment, the grand experiment of embodied soul on this planet is very much like the tempering of a samurai's sword, where we are beaten on the anvil, shoved in the hot coals and melted and quenched in the mother's waters over and over again. Hence the sayings that you find all over the world with regards to initiation. There is no initiation without a scar. And indeed, we are in a time where each of us are making the choice whether or not to allow the circumstances and this great medicine river Orenda to trigger our own next initiations. And in the solitude that we're experiencing, there's a great power in this, because the solitude provides us with a very potent opportunity to become more and more of a mystic. And what do I mean by that? If there was any time on the planet, I will say before I talk about what it is to me, the path of the mystic, is if there was ever a time on the planet that the mystic is needed, it is now, as a emblem, as a representation of what is possible. For the mystic seeks to have such an intimate individual relationship with spirit that it looks like no one else's. And throughout time, the great mystics, for the most part, have been slaughtered. And for the emergence of the New Age, for the moving beyond the Pachacute into the Teri Pai Pacha, in order for us to once again start moving up the great cosmic egg as is defined by the great European alchemists, we must practice cultivation of that which is in us that is a mystic. Can we be courageous enough as individuals and as cultures to allow one another to fully embody the truth that each of us are creator, coming to know herself in ever new ways? And I'd say courage very mindfully. This is the medicine of Yanantin. My emergence as a mystic, Leah's emergence as a mystic, will look like no other person's. Therefore, it takes courage for me to stand in the field of Leah's medicine. It's different. I may never completely understand it. Am I courageous enough to honor it fully? This is the medicine of Yanantin, complementarity in difference rather than opposition in difference. This goes back to befriending pain and suffering. Because instead of joy and pain being oppositional poles that are constantly tugging at one another in our consciousness, can we befriend and stay in the still point at the middle of these extremes which in and of themselves are teachers? Mental constructs to say, label something as pain and to label something as joy are merely the territory and not the map, as it is said. There are no words for your experience, just as there are no words for God, though we try. So, hidden within the jewel of befriending our pain and suffering comes the deep teaching of polarities of experience not needing to be at odds with one another in our mind and in our hearts and our consciousness. Within the teaching is also the medicine of witness consciousness. That's another thing. Witness consciousness. The capacity to actually bridle the fairly new capacity that we have in our noggin since the last ice age, the cognitive revolution, of being reflexively self-conscious. We are an unusual form of monkey, aren't we? So deeply aware that we are aware. And that's caused us a lot of trouble. We are some troublesome monkeys. Indeed, our friends in the Andes tell us that the antidotes to the troublesome aspects of reflexive self-consciousness are being radically in the present and being radically the witness, connecting to all that is. So another aspect of another ingredient in how we befriend our pain and suffering has to do with getting your sea legs on you and being able to watch yourself in the suffering, to witness yourself. I see you. I'm with you. I love you. And we'll talk about this more in a bit because it's like super, super important. And probably the most important thing, and that is compassion. When we do this hard work ourselves, it makes it so much easier for us to be gentle with the world's suffering, no matter what face it shows and how we encounter it. That's bedrock, really. And there's also, God, there's just so much good about this. And another thing is that when we take off the boxing gloves, when we allow our pain and suffering to be the arrow that directs us rather than the arrow that repels us, we develop a different physiological relationship to our bodies. When I say to my body, there's that feeling, that is hard, but I am with it. I am here and I'm not going anyplace. I am with you. I love you. Holy Moses, big things happen. And it's not just on the level of mystical, spiritual mumbo jumbo. It is physiological. We know that inflammatory cytokines relax. We know that energy is mobilized in our mitochondria for healing rather than defense. I mean, look at the consequences of the overly defended consciousness. I mean, America is such an incredible teacher in that way right now on so many levels. Imagine if that energy, those resources were mobilized to truly feed the people within us, the cells within us. What if that energy were mobilized for deepening of understanding and deepening of our inquisitive nature rather than building armamentarium? The metaphors are every place. That's why the great teachers tell us that we are completely effed if we don't elicit in ourselves the changes that we want to see in the world. This is the medicine, and it's hard. It ain't easy. And we're together because y'all are courageous, and we're a little crazy too, but that's good. So this process of compassionate self-witness in the presence of pain awakens our deepest healing intelligence, tells our body a different story. And when we do that, all the stuff that has to do with defense, all the energy that's going to defense and putting up your dukes and running or fighting or freezing, all of a sudden gets liberated for healing. And we know how much energy is in pain and suffering. Good Lord Almighty. Imagine that we're able to alchemize all that energy for something positive. The great spiritual teachers and great healers of the world tell us that it ain't going to happen as long as you got your dukes up, as long as it's a me against the pain, me against the suffering sort of equation. We know so little about surrender in contemporary culture. Just close your eyes for a second and think about what the word surrender feels like. Where do we resist that? Where have we been taught that somehow surrender is at odds with our strength? So many bizarre stories we're told. Surrender is the path to the greatest strength. So part of this medicine too is letting go of the armamentarium by surrendering in radical, compassionate presence, so our body has a chance to do what it's meant to do, and that is heal and awaken and support our unique, incredibly juicy, wonderful relationship with Creator and Spirit and the Kaosai Pacha that nobody else is going to get to have because everybody's different. That's a really awesome narrative. And I may be wrong, but that's the narrative that I like to live by. So I think that's about all I got to blah, blah about before we actually get to some work. Does anybody have any questions or reflections? I covered a bit of territory going from mitochondria to Terry Pipachas.
If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself.
Does this make sense so far?
Hey, I do have a question.
Okay, Camille.
I want to talk about the pain that I have been having in the polarity of Trumpism versus being open. Because I watching the Democratic convention last night, I found myself so angry with the people that, I'm just going to say this, I feel like are destroying the country and my fear of that, right? So when you think of polarity, and I'm thinking of people that I feel like are so wrong, I'd like for you to speak a little bit to the polarity of what I see, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are, but what I see as being open or closed, and the polarity of that.
Thank you. That's a really great question. And actually, all the exercises that we're about to do are going to address that. I hope it's your choice to address that in a teacher that's much better than me, and that's your body. That's your own embodied experience. So I hear you, sister, and I share that. And I think what we're about to do will hopefully bring some deeper resolution than just me giving my own experience and reflection of it. I will say one thing, and this is another place where I think in my personal experience, I think some spiritual circles and traditions get off base, is that it is okay to be outraged. It is okay, because that outrage speaks to the depth of what you know is right. It speaks to your compassion. It's what we do with the outrage. Do we let it destroy us? Do we let it incite violence out in the world, making things worse? It's what we do with it. Honor that outrage, because that outrage wouldn't exist if you didn't have a heart. This is all the same, part of the same enchilada that we're talking about tonight. All of these emotions that we put under the umbrella of negative emotions that we shall try to avoid because we live in an idealistic society with a Volvo and a Cocker Spaniel and 15 antiques per room. I mean, come on, guys. This is not where we want to go.
Well, I don't live with that, so.
You can have that, but it's not it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you. So, yeah, I'll be listening. Thank you very much.
So each of us are going to get to pick certain themes on our own accord to kind of work with if we decide to join in on the exercises. And you've picked a couple that are like super relevant, super, super juicy. We're going to do a couple different rounds. We're going to start with self, and then we're going to, and in so doing, we're going to strengthen our virtual hoop, stoke the fire that we're sitting in front of. And then if all of you all are down with this, is that we can engage in a collective experience with our hoop, with our circle, that hopefully will send some healing balm, healing medicine out to this great field of transformation that we're in, that, sometimes, as Camille said, is looking a little ugly. So, oh gosh, I forgot one more blah, blah. Sorry, guys. And that is, and please forgive me, I know a lot of you are deeply practiced, and so by saying these things, I hope something is new and something is insightful. And I know that many of the things I'm saying you already know. And what I want to preface these exercises with is that they rest upon the idea that our bodies are not only filled with healing intelligence that's ready to be awakened and utilized, but also our bodies are archetypal maps. Our bodies are archetypal maps that, and this has been known since time immemorial in Chinese medicine, Andean medicine, Indian, yogic, pre-Vedic, Vedic medicine. This is pretty much shared in the world's embodied spiritual traditions, that each region and part and organ of our bodies actually tends to have an affinity for specific emotional experience. You know, we hear that lungs are places where in our bodies grief is collected and stored. And in the last decade or so, big epidemiological studies, mostly having to do with cancer, have actually shown a relationship between that archetypal body map and the prevalence of cancers showing up in that place of the body. So for instance, if you interview people who have had throat and neck cancers, you find a statistically significant increase over the average person, average cancer survivor, that those people have experienced some form of having their voice cut off in life, whether it's literal or their ability to express who they are. Same thing in many cases with mothering and breast cancer, either in the receiving of mothering or in the giving of mothering. Transgressions and wounds from that will settle there. So the entire body is a big teacher in that respect also, that where the stories live in our body give us a lot of information. And also, if we set about the process of say working with pain and suffering and don't pay attention to our body, we're kind of cutting ourselves short a little bit too. So and we know that most native healing traditions hold as true that the injuries and transgressions that happen to us in life, if untended, will find their home on our archetypal body map. And over time, if those aren't tended, what happens is that the energetic miasma, the imbalance, will start to inform an imbalance and a weakness in the tissue itself, which then will lead to often diagnosable physical illness. So in the energetic way of, the native way of healing, is that we always try to find the originating story, the originating insult or transgression, the originating place also in the body where that occurs, because if you don't find that, then you can't find the little knot to unravel so that it will come out of the body. So that's that. Any questions about that? Does that make sense? So we're going to work with all these themes as we go through these exercises. I just want to give you all a little bit of context first. Is that good? Okay. All right. So let's sit well. What I recommend for you to do as we begin is to assume a really comfortable and vertical posture, a posture that opens the crown to the sky and also roots your body, even if you're on the 10th floor of an apartment, roots your body down towards Pachamama, so that you assume this position of being a bridge between heaven and earth. There's much to be said about that, the upright place of quietude. And let's just take a moment to align and plug ourselves in So the lower dantian, the koshko, the hara, the central burner, most people experience that 2, 3, 4 inches below the navel, above the pelvic floor, an energy center that helps furnish our body with the energy of enlivenment. Just sinking with slow, relaxed breath, sinking our attention from our mind down into the core of our bodies. And in whatever way you visualize or sense or experience that place of energy generation in your body, imagine it connecting down through whatever structure you're in, down into the body of our great Earth Mother of Pachamama. Opening, opening, opening. Pachamama, I am your son. Pachamama, I am your daughter. I am here and I've come to do good work. Opening, opening. And likewise, you may want to visualize that the great sun, grandfather Inti Taita, is above your crown, and that your crown opens and connects to the sun. So it's like a great strengthening axle that connects your spine to the sun in our solar system, to the sun in the middle of our planet, Pachamama Inti. This is a very good and stable place to work from. Now, if you're feeling comfortable keeping your eyes closed, please do so. And I'm going to invite you to conjure up into your awareness, not only your mind, but also really pay attention to your body. Something that just is painful to think about in your life. And let's focus on your life and not all the painful stuff that's happening in the body politic of America and to our earth. Just really focus in on your story, yourself, your life. And let's take a different tact too. It's like, oh, thank you. There you are again. Welcome the feelings associated with that painful thing. Breathing deeply into that experience. What I say to myself is, thank you, I see you, I love you, and I'm with you. We do this all the time with little kids, don't we? When they come to us troubled, we hold space for their natural ability to transform. Give yourself that gift. And the more you give it, the more great things will happen. Continue to bring up all the feelings from the deep well of memory. And if there is a place on your body, especially paying attention to the torso that you feel has shifted, maybe a tightening or something, just place one or both hands wherever you're experiencing a shift in your felt sense. Yeah. And once again, reiterating our stance here, this new stance. I am with you. I love you. Thank you. Notice how we're not trying to change anything. We're just witnessing. What is the medicine in the pain? It's often very useful, very helpful to draw your inner vision, your inner sense of awareness to the place right behind your hands, or the place that you feel is the nexus of the sensation. Like a pilgrim walking into Mecca. What is the treasure at the bedrock of my suffering? What is the treasure at the bedrock of my pain? I'm with you. I love you. Thank you. And if you start to feel something moving around or loosening, this could be a good time to call on Pachamama. You've already connected yourself to her. We're connected all the time. For those of you who have advanced practices, you can do this through your taproot or through your pakpo. But essentially, it's super simple. Mother, take from me this heaviness. Whatever of this is no longer serving or has no teaching behind it, just take it. So it may be good food for all your children. May it be neutralized and composted so it's useful. Help me see. I think about one of my favorite teachers, Joanna Macy, her favorite poem by Rilke. Quiet friend, you who have come so far, feel how the breath expands the space all around you. In this moment of imaginable pain and suffering, imagine that it is like a bell tower and you the bell. The circumstances, the memories swinging you back and forth to ring loud, knowing that that which batters you becomes your strength. The Taoist teachers would tell us in this moment of focus to expand on the in-breath and to sink on the out-breath. To expand on the in-breath and to sink. And in the action of sinking, we connect more deeply with Pachamama. So take note. Just take a brief note of what has changed in your felt experience. Go ahead and just experiment. Take a moment to go through the same sequence that you did at the very beginning, bringing up the recollection. Just measure what's shifted. The process of making your life a laboratory. There's nothing not spiritual about measuring and asking what's changed. Elsewise, it's hard to mark our progress. So go ahead and come on back and just take a little break if you want to stand and shake off, take a few deep breaths. That's good. I feel everybody's really good focus. Fantastic. All right, well, let's give ourselves a quick Sami bath. Are there any folks here who don't know, have not encountered the term Sami? Is everybody? Okay, so in Andean nature mysticism, it's understood that there are different forms that animating energy we call Kao-Sai takes on. And Kao-Sai, which is very much like prana or jing or chi, when it interacts with consciousness, when it moves through the chain of causality in the middle world, it either moves towards being uplifting, harmonious, and effervescent, that's what we call Sami, or it becomes Hucha, which is the energy that results from discordant interaction, conflict, that sort of thing. So Sami is available to us in the living field all around us. And one of the kind of like foundational techniques of the Andean nature mystic is actually to learn how to drink Sami into our bodies, and then also how to share it because it's so good and so healing. So let's just do a quick Sami. We call this exercise, and there's a whole bunch of different variations of it. Samin Chakwe, the blessing of ourselves with Sami, essentially. So really easy. You just sit well. You can have your eyes open or closed, and just think about opening and relaxing, opening and relaxing. And then for folks that have not done this before, I like to just visualize that from your heart, a bubble starts to expand, and that bubble starts to encase your whole body like a bubble. Call it the luminous energy bubble. So in whatever way is good and right to you, you might want to just imagine that you're sitting there where you are, encased by this really cool bubble. And now what we do is we simply open the top of the bubble and imagine the most beautiful, delicious, sparkly light from the cosmos just pouring in. Just allow yourself to be a little kid and imagine what it's like to open your bubble like a flower, and the greatest, sweetest nectar of the cosmos fills that vessel and starts to fill you. And the more of that positive energy, Sami, we have, it just naturally helps to unwind heaviness. So once we feel full, we close the bubble. So now we're a big old Sami bubble. And now you can imagine that below you, we open the bubble and it's like draining. The Sami, we're giving it to Pachamama, and the Sami will carry with it, just like wringing out a rag, squeezing a sponge, draining out a vessel, will carry with it, due to its natural intelligence, anything that we don't need. So this is kind of like a flushing, an irrigation. Irrigation is a direct translation of a word that is associated with a lot of these processes, irrigation. So just draining out the bottom. When you feel empty, close the bottom of the bubble. And then we'll do it one more time. We'll open the top, filling with that delicious nectar that we're calling in, that we so deserve because we're so awesome we, each of us, creator, coming to know herself in new ways. Filling, filling, closing, letting that kind of swish around, swirl around, and then give all of that by opening the bubble at the bottom, give all of it to Pachamama. Samin Chakwe. So simple, the best medicine, simple. And, you know, I for many, many years, was very fortunate to study Kung Fu with someone who was also a rabbi and Kabbalist. It was a very bizarre combination in some ways, but really cool. This was like 40 years ago now, taught me about the esoteric interpretation of Ezekiel's wheel. Whoa, the wheels is like our Pakpo. The wheel is shuttling energy from the heavens to the earth and vice versa. You ask almost any Paco, why do you do the stuff you do? And it's like, to bring heaven and earth together. The more we practice this shuttling of energy between heaven and earth, whether you're doing Taoist practice or Native American medicine wheel work, whatever it is, Kabbalistic work, you are bringing heaven and earth together. This Samin Chakwe is very much the same as the inner alchemical processes that the esoteric practitioners of Kabbalah do. It's really what some of the hidden meaning behind the Ezekiel's wheel. I thought that was pretty groovy. All right, y'all feeling strong and good? You want to go for another round? All right, let's get a bigger enchilada on our plate. Okay, so for this, it would be really awesome if we were able to like see each other for just a second. Oh, I see Joy. Is that Joy that just connected to us? If you all could turn your cameras on for just a second, because we're gonna use the visual field to kind of weave ourselves together a little bit. So, and the teaching here is let's please be confident that this work doesn't just stop here. That when we come together like our ancestors once did, the vibration propagates far beyond this little circle. That we're doing work for ourselves and our families, but we're also doing work for the world. Hold that confidence. Hold that confidence. That will get you through a lot of distraction and laziness. I mean, that's what helps me. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this work. It really sucks right now, but I'm doing this work because it's not about me, you know? So rest assured that what we're doing has effects that we may never understand, far beyond the limits of this circle. So allow your eyes, I've never done this on Zoom before, it'd be really fun, so let's see what happens. Allow yourself to gaze softly upon everyone that's in the circle. And as you meet the beautiful image of each of your brothers and sisters, imagine a golden thread from your heart extending out to each of the people that you see, offering the nectar of your heart. This is what will weave us together strongly for what we're about to do. Just give yourself a couple moments to connect. Connect all your hearts, all our hearts. Again, just check in, witness, how is my body shifting? What's happening with my body? Body always tells the truth. Body always tells the truth. So good. My arm just want to multidimensionally reach out and hold this beautiful circle. That's really good, really strong. Thank you. So once again, we're going to invite you to turn inward. You can close your eyes if that feels good and available to you. Returning to this theme of befriending our pain and suffering, befriending pain and suffering. So as you go into your body, into the deep wisdom of your body, I invite you to, like we did before, bring into the field of your awareness, of your experience, something that's happening, something you know about in the world that is just so painful to witness. Or it might be some incredible, disproportionate degree of suffering that's happening out there that you might feel helpless and not being able to address. Whatever it is that's happening out there that just comes to you, the first thing that comes to you, trust that. Is it the blindness of people? Is it the inertia? Whatever first comes to you, trust that. And again, unpack it in your body, unpack it in all the layers of your being with this sacred witness consciousness. I see you. I'm with you. I love you. Thank you. And in this moment, that consciousness that is me ceases to be just me. It takes courage to sit in this fire. It takes courage to find the still point in this discomfort. Breathe into it. Witness it playing itself out as your body awakens, and trust your body. I am with you. I see you. I love you. Thank you. Now, as this experience is fully blossomed in your body, now is a time for just a little bit more mythic imagination. Leah has spoken so beautifully to the fire that we're holding. Imagine in whatever way that you can that there is a fire that is our circle's fire, our circle's fire right in front of you. And just ask your body, what shall be given in this moment to this sacred fire? To Mama Nina, Papa Nina, Hatu Nina. The fire that we ignite, the sacred fire, is no different than the sun. It is a piece of the sun. The central generative principle that's responsible for all life, all death, all transformation, all birth on the middle plane. So however your body is instructing you to give something of your experience of the fire, do it, not forcefully, but in compassionate giving. And it can be done with motion. It can be done in complete stillness. There are no rules. When your giving process to the fire is complete, imagine the entire earth, the entirety of the earth, each soul a point of light. Each soul that may have tasted the same pain, the same suffering that you're working with right now. Imagine that golden threads, thousands of them, extend from your heart to all the people on the planet who have shared your pain, your suffering. And like the strings of a guitar or a lute, say through those golden threads, I see you. I'm with you. I love you. Thank you. You are not finite and small. You are not between 100 and 200 pounds sitting in a house someplace in suburban America. You are really a weaver of this thread, if only you will allow it to be. If only you have the courage to be, as Master Christ said, as a little child, awakening the alchemy that follows the great train of mythic imagination, of the child's imagination. Our capacity as a circle to heal the world is only limited by the willingness for our imagination to be untethered by conditioning. That's why the mystics say that this is the work. I'm with you. I see you. I love you. Thank you. If you have after we finish, this is authentic and strong work. If we finish and you still feel a little agitated or heavy, do your practices, whatever those practices might be, to finish the clearing process. It's one of the disadvantages of being not in the same room together, is we can't work on each other and kind of finish things off. But I really feel each of your focus and your strong work and your courageous willingness to go into these places. It is indeed, I believe, the antidote for the suffering of these times.